That's certainly a neat thing. But at the end of the day, I think from my vantage point, it's time to win some football games. And that's really where my focus is fallen, and that's where the fulfillment will actually come.
It's time to win some football games. Welcome here into Teal, the show. You heard it from General Manager James Gladstone himself. It's right around the corner. This time next week, we're going to be talking about some football because week 1 is coming closer and closer. I got Kyle Ashley hanging out with me tonight. We're going to take a look at the Jaguars' final 53-man roster as we talked about the cuts on Monday. We got to talk about how the whole thing came together. And then next week, we finally get to talk about some games. Come on now.
Hey, I can't wait. I know, and just I want to talk about Gladstone for a second just because he might be my favorite person. And you've heard me say this before. He's the reason I wish general managers had jerseys because I would have already bought in his jersey in all 3 colors. Just the way he speaks, he's like a modern-day philosopher. I just love hearing it. He brings that energy. I'm a big fan.
James Gladstone wouldn't have a jersey. He'd have a hoodie.
Hey, I'd buy that too.
That's the swag that he rolls with. He'd have the hoodie going, and I feel like it wouldn't even have Gladstone on the back. It'd just say intangibly rich.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. That should be his brand name. He might have the copyright.
We can work on that. We'll work on that one. I actually was sitting in the press conference. I'm like, he only said intangibly rich one time. That's
I know.
Straight. If you haven't been listening to James Gladstone press conferences, he has like these buzzwords, these buzz phrases that he loves to throw out. Hunting up, intangibly rich, elevate the space you're in by being nothing more than yourself.
He also likes to say getting on the grass. We haven't seen him on the grass. I love referring to the field as the grass. Yeah. But speaking of Gladstone and the energy, we also, the Jaguars did practice this week, and Trevor was kind of asked about the energy that the new regime brought in, but he said it's up to the players now to kind of make that energy and turn it into the culture of the team.
It's really important. I think obviously the energy that Coach Cohen's brought in and the whole staff, the coaching, the just level of detail, all the things that they've done up until this point has been awesome. And they brought a lot of energy every day and coached us hard. And the expectations have been really high, which has been good for our team. I think we've grown a lot. But ultimately it has to be from the players, until you really own it from a player standpoint and push each other, that's really where the difference is. And I think we've taken some big steps in that. We have some more work to do, but I really like even the new guys we brought in from different places, just like Hainsey, Jordan Lewis, just to name a couple, Eric Murray, a bunch of other guys could be named too. But those guys, we brought in good players, really good players, but really good leaders too that handle their business the right way.
Yeah, bringing the pieces together. Look, good teams are led by the locker room. The coaches can bring some energy, but it's up to the team to really set the tone, to set the personality of the group each year. When you talk to coaches at any level, they'll tell you, each season is different because each team has their own personality, and that personality is driven by the guys in the locker room, the guys that are going to get out there on the grass, out there on the field. So while, yes, Liam Cohen, Anthony Campanelle, all the coaches will bring the energy, and I think the guys are appreciative of what those guys bring in that excitement each day, it's up to the players to carry it on throughout the season and carry it out there on the field.
And I mean, we asked about every player that we talked to during camp about the energy, and they all said that they felt it. And so I think that's a positive moving forward. Coach Cohen, he always talks about each player finding that edge. So if they can find that edge, create that leadership, the locker room will go a long way.
And you know what? I think the coaches are also empowering the guys to be themselves and to bring that energy. Some coaching staffs try and squash guys' personalities, and other coaches empower guys to be exactly who they are. And I think this coaching staff is just asking, again, a Gladstoneism, them to be nothing more than themselves. All right, let's talk about some of the guys. So the 53 is already here. Let's take a look at the offense. We talked about this on Monday, and then now we finally kind of got the final list. So we nailed some of these on Monday, Kyle.
You did.
I don't know if there's too many names on here that are necessarily wrong. I think a couple of guys I thought were a little bit more banged up than they are. I wasn't sure about Cole Van Lanen or Wyatt Milam, but they're on the active 53, so that's good news.
Yeah, most of these are exactly as you said. I will say you did have Trenton Irwin on there, but you did say that they were going to look for a wide receiver, a bigger body, and they did just that by going out and getting Tim Patrick. So
no, on the 53, I didn't have Trenton Irwin.
No Trenton Irwin.
I didn't have Trenton Irwin or Trammell. I actually had 3.5 as my number.
Okay.
Because I said that wide receiver 5 and 6, I thought they were going to bring in 2 guys, weren't on the roster. So when the initial 53 rolled out and Trammell made it, I was wrong, and then they got rid of Trammell and made their trade, and that landed me back in the green.
But you said it was going to be a bigger body guy.
Yeah.
Tim
Oh,
Patrick.
6'5", it don't get too much bigger than that, right?
I know. He is definitely adding some versatility to that room, so that's exciting to see.
Yeah, I got it pretty close on offense. The defense, there was a couple of misses there, but we'll talk more about the Jaguars defense and the guys that are on the roster on that 53 when we come back right after this quick break. Welcome back here into Teal, the show. All right, we talked about the Jaguars offense that's on this 53-man roster. Let's take a quick look at the Jaguars defense. So here we go. This one is, there's a couple of interesting ones here. So 2 undrafted free agents made the Jaguars roster, and they both made it in the defensive line room. Danny Strigau, who we talked to over the course of training camp, he has a wrestling background, grew up wrestling with his brothers, and clearly that wrestling showed up out on the football field, got a couple of sacks throughout the preseason, makes the 53-man roster. But B.J. Green, the guy from Colorado, also squeaks onto the roster. A little bit of a pass rusher. Kyle showed up during the preseason game, got a sack in the last one.
Yes, he did.
Don't get too much better than that.
No, it doesn't. And also, like Gladstone and Cohen, they both spoke highly of both those guys. We also got to talk with B.J. Green, Alessandro Pomfrey on that, and he told us kind of his story about getting told that he made the team, and he says it was the best breakfast he's ever had.
I was eating breakfast, actually, and then GM Gladstone, he put his hand on my shoulder, and I was like, please, God. And I looked up at him. He's like, got a big smile on his face. So I'm like, oh. And he's like, congrats. And I was like, seriously? And then I was like, it was kind of surreal. I'm like, really? Cool. And then, after that, I told my dad. That's the first person I told because he's been with me during football since I can remember. So I told him, we were all ecstatic, but then it was like, all right, back to work. And I was like, cool. So, back to the daily grind.
Okay, so is that the best breakfast ever?
Yeah, scariest and the best breakfast ever, yeah.
Scariest and the best breakfast ever. I'd say so. That's a pretty good breakfast. Look, that's a nice surprise. I don't know if it's better than some real good pancakes, but, look, all right.
Or French toast.
Or some French toast is good.
I will say
we should have asked what he was eating for breakfast. That's the money question.
These are the questions we need to ask. I will also say one thing I liked about B.J. Green, we asked him, if he could kind of relax a little bit, and he said no. He said he's got an extremely high standard for himself, and that this just means it's time to work harder and, just keep grinding. That's the way you got to do it.
Yeah, you got to crank it up. Got to crank it up. So 2 undrafted free agents, both in that defensive line room, B.J. Green, Danny Strigau. I think I had B.J. Green on the roster. I didn't have Danny making it. I thought Danny would squeak on the practice squad. It's not often you get 2 undrafted free agents in one room. But the Jaguars opted to go there. A couple other changes maybe from what we talked about on Monday. I had Daniel Thomas squeaking on. I know Kyle's a little disappointed about that one. But they opted to go a different direction, kept Darnell Savage instead. Daniel Thomas has found a new home up in Detroit, so we'll be keeping an eye on him up there. But, for the most part, we're pretty close here on the defense, too.
Yes, you were definitely closer than I was in my head. But Daniel Thomas, that is a bummer. I feel like they let go of him. They decided to go with the younger guy, the rookie Rayon Lane.
That's right.
He'll probably kind of fill in that gunner role and be the special teams demon, as they like to say. So, a little different, but I think the team will still kind of round out itself.
Look, me and you talked about this watching training camp. I told you, look, Daniel Thomas had been in Jacksonville and he'd done some good things. But new regime comes change. And one of the changes they made during the draft was they literally drafted a safety and then looked at us in the face and said, hey, what he does well is special teams. They drafted Daniel Thomas's replacement. So I'd kind of been saying since April, I didn't think DT was going to make it on the roster because they had drafted his replacement. So unless Rayon Lane didn't show up and do the special teams work that they thought he was going to do, he was going to be on the roster, and DT probably was going to be somewhere else. And ultimately, that's what happened. So we're right around the corner from the regular season, right?
We have a lot of exciting stuff going on, too.
A lot of stuff. And hopefully you're going to have some fun along the way with us on all this stuff. So as we get ready for that first home game of the year against the Carolina Panthers, I want to go ahead and remind you that we're going to be out at the Slab for each home game. So this next Sunday when they get out there against the Panthers, we'll be live from the Slab from 11 to noon. So we'll be tailgating. If you're at the Slab, come see us, say what's up. If you're sitting at home and you want to get all the tailgate vibes and get ready for the game, right? It will give you a little bit of football. We'll give you a little bit of fun along the way. You can tune into Channel 4 or news4jax.com, that News4Jax Plus app from 11 to noon before each Sunday home game, and we'll be out tailgating, getting ready. But also want to remind you, hey, we want to know what you think about your favorite team.
Dial it up.
Dial it up. Give us a Duval dial up. The phone number's on your screen, 904-391-3661. Leave us a message. Let us know how you're feeling going into the year. Let us know how you're feeling after a game. And you never know. You might hear yourself right here on Teal the Show or during the Sunday Sports Zone right here on Channel 4.
Please give us a call. We want to hear what you guys have to say, good or bad.
Yeah, look, we've had some fun calls already, and hopefully as the season gets to going, we'll have some more fun ones and have some fun with those. All right, speaking of things that are a little bit fun, how about Josh Hines-Allen? I love when players have some fun on social media. So Josh is in great shape, and apparently the NFL has taken notice, right, Kyle?
Yes, they have.
So Josh Hines-Allen sent out this tweet and said, I've been drug tested so much this offseason and now preseason, and the season hasn't even started yet. At this point, I could buy the league a new randomizer myself. So, look, Josh is in great shape, and apparently the league is saying, well, hey, are you in too good a shape? Got to check in on this guy a little bit.
So, I mean, I'm just wondering how many times maybe they drug tested guys like Aaron Donald or DK Metcalf if they're just going basically on how the physique looks.
Hey, look, after those big games, I forgot to ask Cam Little after the 70-yard field goal if he got drug tested, but just wait till Josh racks up a three-sack game or two. The NFL will be calling for another drug test or two along the way. Well, while we're talking about Josh has definitely been busy, and some big news for his family. He announced to the world that his son Wesley had been battling leukemia. He is now in remission, has rung that bell over at Nemours Hospital, but now Josh is going to use his platform, take that fight public, and here's his pledge for his donations that he's going to make based on the sacks the defense gets this year.
This is on my foundation page, but every sack that our defense gets, we're going to donate $410 to our foundation, and we're going to match it. So, I'm going to have those guys playing extra hard this year so we can rack it up a little bit.
You got to love that. It doesn't get better than that. Seeing Wesley ring that bell. Come on now. Hey, appreciate you guys hanging out with us for Teal the Show tonight. Good night, everybody, and go Jags.